Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tulio Surgusa with DojoLIVE. Today is Tuesday, July 7th, 2020. I am joined today by my co-host, Carlos Ponce, just outside of Mexico City. Hi, Carlos. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I am joined by Kenny Reuter, who's the CEO of Kajabi, just a little south of me here in Los Angeles in Orange County. Welcome to the show, Kenny.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. Kenny, let's introduce you. We'd love to hear what Kenny Reuter is all about. Give us a little bit of background and a little introduction.
Well, first of all, the last name is pronounced Reuter, and
Reuter. There we go.
It confuses everybody. I don't really correct anybody anymore. I just kind of let them call me what they want to. But I figured I would throw that in there. But yeah, I'm. Let's see. What is Kenny? Kenny, I've grown up and just born and raised here in Irvine, California. Never really strayed too far from home. And by trade, I was a software developer and a programmer at some various companies here in Orange County. And all the while, we'll get into the business aspect later, but all of the while doing my job, I was just very entrepreneurial. I wanted to do something on my own. And so that's where Kajabi was birthed. But personally, I've been married to beautiful wife, Kim. We just celebrated, 22 years married and have 3 sons, high school age kids. And so it's just a lot of fun.
Amazing. Well, thank you for the introduction. And Kenny, tell us about Kajabi. What gave birth to this idea? What do you guys do? What is the company all about?
Yeah, so I was working, day job at software development, like I said, and really just thinking, okay, what could I do on the side to make some extra money? Is there a future out there for me on some kind of business that I could create myself? And in one of these days during the season, I had built a toy for my kids out of sprinkler pipe that plugs into the hose outside and it sprays the water down. And they were young at the time, and so they would ride their scooters through it and their bikes through it and things like that. And neighbors would start coming over and asking where they could buy these things. And I kind of had this idea, hey, what if I manufacture these and sell them to people? And this could be a little side project that would kind of whet my appetite for entrepreneurial stuff. And really quickly realized it was way too hard to do a physical products business. So instead I said that would be really fun to film some videos on how to build these things and give a little Home Depot shopping list and post it on the internet and sell the plans, sell a little course on how to do this. And it would be a fun project for parents to do with their kids. And so I was super excited about that, and then just realized how hard it was at the time. This was in 2009 to do that and to charge for videos and to collect payment and not give access to the videos until you click get payment and things like that. So that's really where the idea for Kajabi was born. It was the world needed a software as a service solution to make it easy to sell your information.
Well, okay, I'm looking forward to learning more about that. Carlos, what's the topic for today? Let's go right into it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tulio. Our topic for today is cultivating the new entrepreneurs of the digital age, or creating a world where technology is no longer a barrier to entrepreneurial success. I personally look forward to this too, because I got excited about Kajabi when I first learned about it from a friend, and then I thought, we should have this on the show. And now, to make a long story short, Kenny, you're here, so thank you. So for being with us. Kenny, first of all, why did you choose this particular topic? Why did you think it was relevant? Let's start with.
Yeah, I think it's extremely relevant, especially during the last couple of months and the worldwide pandemic and people's lives getting turned upside down, and the normalcy that they knew in terms of the jobs and industry, was really just turned upside down. And I think a lot of people were thinking, wait a second, I don't have as much power in my life, control over my own destiny as I thought I did. And I need to take some matters into my own hands. And just very much like I thought back when the idea for Kajabi was born, I see that being the topic of the day now. Is people are saying, wait, is there a side hustle I should be doing? Should I be doing something on the side to bring some more money in for my family? Is there something I can do from home so I'm not required to go into an office every day and things like that? And so I think those are all questions that we aim to answer here at Kajabi.
So what are some of the key types of businesses that the platform is designed for? I'm hearing consultants, coaches, digital creators. Can you give us an area where you're getting more traction and where you're focusing on?
Yeah, we don't really focus on a specific vertical. We just want to, like Carlos said, remove the technology barrier. So anybody with any kind of knowledge that would be valuable to somebody else can do it. And so in practice, what that looks like is you've got fitness professionals, and you've got real estate investment people. You've got teaching people how to bake a cake, for example, and then you've got the life coaches, and you've got lots of fitness. I think I said that one, and just so many different topics are able to be taught, because now people that traditionally don't even have the technology experience don't need it anymore. And I think that's really the eye-opening part for our customers. Is most people have some information that would be valuable to other people, and they might not wake up in the morning and just think naturally, hey, I want to sell an online course. But that's what we're aiming to really take out to the world, is that anybody with any kind of knowledge can do this.
So is it predominantly the solopreneur? Is that the right term?
Solopreneur and then small business. Yeah, we do have quite a few customers that have teams now. Their business has grown, and so they've got teams of people on their side and things. But yeah, we're definitely focused in that beginning entrepreneur stage.
All right. So if you don't mind, walk us through a little bit the process. Let's say I want to teach something, share something with the world. How do I get started? What does it look like? And how long does it take to get going? Do you do everything? Can I promote the business through the platform, collect the money through the platform? How does it work?
Yeah, so it's really an all-in-one. We like to say it's everything you need to conduct online business. And so if you had an idea, give me your hobby. You said you're into music earlier?
Yes, I dabble with
there
music.
You go. So Tulio's Guitar School. You wanna create that online. And so you just go to Kajabi and you sign up. There's a 14-day trial. So you just do a little sign up form and get your account. And then right there you're in, and you can start building a course if you wanted, intro to guitar by Tulio. And so you could upload some videos that you just do from your iPhone. And you can type some text if you want. You can upload some PDFs if you have chord charts or whatever it might be. And then boom, you've got a course, and then you can just set a price for that course. And there's a lot of power involved if you want. There's these things called offers, and so you could set prices or bundles different courses together, and then you can put it out there on your website. So Kajabi does include the course feature, but then it's also your website. It can be your blog. It can be all your email marketing. If you want to start building an audience for Tulio's Guitar Store, before you just sell a course to somebody, maybe you want to give away some lessons for free. And so that's all built in. And so you could really cultivate and nurture an audience. And then, of course, at the end, collecting payment and communicating with your audience after they've signed up.
I love it. It's kind of like having your own personal Groupon. Carlos, I know you had some questions. I'm gonna hold on to mine. I have a few more, but I felt like you had a question.
Yeah, actually, there's one in particular, Kenny. First of all, let me give you, as I mentioned in the beginning, I learned about Kajabi through a very good friend of mine, and she's probably watching this interview now. So if you're watching, Gina, this is thanks to you. Kenny, we got here right here thanks to you. So Kenny, so my question is about well, actually, my friend, she's in real estate, and then you mentioned other niches or other verticals. And my question is, do you think, would you say that there's like a specific vertical or area that would be more receptive to using Kajabi to successfully conduct an online business? Let me give you an example. Maybe someone who's in the services space, for maybe someone who's in graphic design or illustration. I'm an illustrator, so I would like to maybe use Kajabi to conduct business online. How is this? So have you seen that there's like a niche that is more receptive to Kajabi, or it could be, or is it like more broad in that sense? How does it work?
I really think it comes down to the grit of our customer. So if you have grit, if you want to make it work, it's going to work, and that's really it. There's no easy button that you can press and just money starts coming out of your computer. So I don't think there's the situation where there's certain groups that are extremely more receptive than others. Although I will say there's some that are just kind of used to it by now, right? If like a lot of the personal development space or life coaching, like they're kind of already watching videos online and things like that, versus attorneys, right? We have some attorneys that are on Kajabi, and you know, and teaching other attorneys for their like continuing education credits, and that's something that's traditionally that industry has been, you know, not necessarily conducted a lot online.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but to me, when I look at that, I see even more opportunity for them. Those entrepreneurial, I can't say that word, entrepreneurial attorneys that want to use Kajabi and augment their physical practice with online courses have really really taken off, because it's such a, like a breath of fresh air for their audience.
I like the idea of a business with an easy button and cash comes out of your computer. That would be something definitely to sell on Kajabi.
Yeah, if I invent that, I'll come back on the show.
Please, I'll be the first in line. So, okay, so very obvious question, timely question. A lot of people lost their livelihood in recent months due to COVID-19. Some of those people are not going to have a business to go back into. Is this an opportunity for them to have a platform to go in the route of being an entrepreneur, to sell their knowledge, to provide that knowledge base? And how would they go about getting started?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a good time, because this COVID-19 period has just been eye-opening for people, and I think people found themselves for a while there, anyways, with a lot of free time in their hands, and you know, they're either trying to better themselves with fitness and exercise and things like that, or they're trying to binge watch, you know, Tiger King or whatever on Netflix, and for me, I look at it as a perfect opportunity, but because there's a lot of people that have a passion that's not in line with their career, and they don't have much time normally to think about it or to cultivate it. And so I think this is a perfect time as a wake-up call to say, wait, do I possess something that is valuable, and can I take some of the extra hours that I have found myself with, whether we signed up for it or not, to really dive into that and maybe build a different future for myself. And the other thing too, I know we've been talking about entrepreneurial endeavors, but we have a lot of customers who have businesses already. They have brick and mortar businesses, and they've got constraints, right? Every brick and mortar business has a constraint, whether, you know, you have so many hours in your day. Like if you're in the service business, you're a hairstylist, for example, you can only service so many clients from a certain geographical area. And we've seen people like that use Kajabi to augment their business. Either they're teaching other people all around the world how to do what they did and build a thriving hair salon, or they're you know, giving cutting classes or whatever it might be. And so all of a sudden, where they thought there was constraints, really there's not anymore.
Okay, I have to ask the question about the name Kajabi. How did that come about? Does it have a meaning? It's really cool name.
It's kind of fortuitous. So it was a domain name that we owned early on, and it was actually named after a tug of war like game that it was at an old summer camp. And then later found out that it's an Aboriginal word, and it actually means to take flight. And so we thought that was perfect. It was you know, that's what our customers are trying to do, is they're taking the plunge, they're taking flight, and they're trying to launch something on their own.
Very apropos. So, okay, so there are platforms that encourage people to offer their services in the expansive gig economy. You've got Fiverr, you've got Upwork, and others, right? How is this different? What's your differentiation as to why I would want to be on your platform versus those other ones? I'm curious to understand the nuances.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, they say that we're in the information age. I would argue that we're past the information age now, right? Information it's a dime a dozen. You can find anything by Googling or searching YouTube, but now it's too much information, and really the magic is in curation, and it's you only want the right information. You know, there's no shortage of just information out there. And so what Kajabi provides for our customers is the ability to personally brand yourself, and to really own the experience, and to really make it feel aesthetically you know, really rich, right? So you've got your own domain name on your own beautiful website, and you've got your own courses, and you've got your own branded emails that go to your customers, and you're not piggybacking off of another platform that might put their logo on everything and their branding, and they might charge their own fees and have their hands in your pockets when you sell courses. We firmly believe that, you know, our customers are the ones with information. So they should be the ones that set the price for their products and then keep that, And so I think really that's the differentiator. And then also is everything you need is in one place. Anything else that you mentioned and lots of others you didn't mention are really good at one little sliver of what you would need to have an online business that thrives. And Kajabi, we like to say we have everything that you need to do an online business.
Kenny,
I love that. I love that. I mean, clearly, you don't. If you want to build a business, you don't want to just be a menu item on a big list like everybody else. I totally get the importance of building your own brand presence. Carlos, I'm sorry, you had another question.
Yeah, just one more, Tulio. And well, I'm curious about something in particular. You mentioned that you serve different business categories that span, and I quote, the expected to the unbelievable. Can you talk to us about what the unbelievables are?
Oh yeah. There's over the years, there's been some crazy ones. There's somebody now that is teaching how to forage for mushrooms, and I'm talking about the kind you eat, not some kind of hallucinogenic, and making really good money. There's a group of ladies that are teaching how to knit, right? So Carlos, when you asked about are there groups of people that are more apt to it, I wouldn't think that like the stereotypical knitter would be looking for courses online, and they're making a killing. Things like that. And then there's things that are extremely niche, right? So fitness, okay, cool. Fitness courses are a dime a dozen, but there's somebody teaching elderly people fitness in Hawaii, and that's the niche, So yeah, it's exciting for me to see all the different uses of the platform all of the time.
So many ideas. I'm thinking,
okay.
It's so many ideas rushing. I'm thinking, my wife makes this incredible banana nut bread, and it's like a big production to make it. And I've often said we should start a kitchen and do it. I'm like, maybe you should teach how to make the perfect banana nut bread and use Kajabi. So so I'm just trying to plant some ideas for the listeners. Like, so, sometimes you're sitting back, what do I have to offer? What do I want to share? And just teaching something you're really good at that other people might want to learn is a fantastic way to use this platform. Did I capture that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing the world change too in terms of what is entertainment, right? I look at my kids, 2 high schoolers and a middle schooler, and they watch YouTube personalities way more than they would watch some kind of produced network show or anything like that. And it's like we've got these group of influencers, whether they're on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, and they're building these massive followings, but they're not really monetizing it other than, okay, I want to get enough ads, ad revenue coming in, or I want to, sell merchandise. And so sure, they can do both of those, but there's another option too for, for building an experience around your brand and having it all in one place.
Right. And I mean, those platforms are great. They've created lots of opportunity, but you're still at the mercy of someone else's business model. You're not really in charge of your own base and owning it and curating it on your own terms. So totally get that. Okay, let's shift a little bit towards where you are right now and where you want to be a year from now. What are some of the things in the pipeline on your roadmap that you're trying to get to, and why? How do you validate what you need to add next? Do you have a user group? How do you go about doing that in terms of your product roadmap?
Yeah, absolutely. So, founded the company 10 years ago now, and it's been an amazing journey of self-discovery too, and just growth. In the beginning, when it was trying to solve the one need of, the sprinkler toy that I had created, it was very focused on just the delivery of the videos in exchange for money. And so since then, it's been this evolution of okay, everything that somebody needs to conduct business, and the team has grown internally, and the customer base has skyrocketed. And so now it's all about how do we empower entrepreneurs, experts, and influencers, to have a successful online business. And so we're constantly listening to the customers, not saying, hey, what should we build? What should we build? But we're constantly talking to them to figure out pain points. And, are there other areas, of business that we're not adequately empowering them on? Or are there roadblocks to their own personal success that we can, remove from their path? And so product roadmap specifically is all about refining what we've got, making it even easier. I mean, Carlos, you said it at the beginning, removing technology barriers. And so we don't want the system to be clunky or confusing, anything like that. We want it to be something that anybody, any demographic can sit down and produce their content easily by themselves without hiring a team or hiring a tech person, anything like that. So it's constantly leveling up all of the areas we have, and then being on the lookout for new opportunities, because the world's changing, and I think we're at the forefront to be able to pivot with those changes.
Kenny, one more question, and I'll pass it on to Tulio. Tell us about Kajabi Heroes. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so very early on, I realized that I didn't just want to have a software company. I wanted a community of entrepreneurs that are rallied around a software. And so we put a lot of time and resources into not only our software platform, but the community around us. And so Kajabi Hero is the idea that once all of our customers are our heroes. I mean, the fact that they just took the plunge on Kajabi, they're a hero in my book, but we kind of make it official when they've made $1,000 on the platform. Mm-hmm. And so we celebrate that. We send them some swag, and a lot of times they'll snap a picture of them wearing their Kajabi Hero t-shirt and send it back. And then we have these different levels along the way, because you'll remember at the beginning of this call, I said, it's really comes down to the grit of the customer. And we found that if mm-hmm. we're cheering them on, if we're celebrating them, if we're there in their corner, they're going to kind of get that extra motivation to keep going.
Sounds like a good offering on Kajabi. Teaching people how to develop more grit. Definitely a needed thing today. Yeah. Well, look, I love this idea of gamifying, rewarding the entrepreneurs for being active, for achieving milestones. Obviously, you're very committed to their success, and that's important. In this journey, you've gone through 10 years, is a long time building a business. Mm-hmm. You said you learned a lot about yourself. We're always curious culturally, what have been some of those lessons as an entrepreneur that you've learned about yourself, and maybe even some mistakes along the way and lessons you learned from there, and that perhaps you could share with some newer entrepreneurs in how to avoid some of those pitfalls. If you had some 2-3 words of wisdom, specific things that you've learned that you'd like to share, what would those be?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think it's my favorite word. You've noticed by now, but is grit. And I think it's being able to roll with the punches and just keep on going. When roadblocks in the business come up, 10 years, that's been a lot of changes and seasons for our company as well. I was just over at we're moving into a brand new headquarters. That's just an amazing 2 floors of an amazing brand new building. And our team has grown. And so I personally have had to grow with the company and learn a lot about what does it mean to be the CEO of a company with 170, 180 employees versus, a little squad of a couple people. And so mistakes along the way, I mean, there's some very tactical ones, during this journey in 2015, made the decision to really halt all new development on Kajabi and start over from the ground up with a newer and improved version. And so we did that and basically took that year, and the end of that year in November 2015 launched a brand new one. Now, if you go sign up for Kajabi, you're on the new code base. But a lot of companies would consider that a massive failure, that we hadn't architected the first one right so it could be iterated and improved. It was better and easier just to scrap it and start over. And so that was, a lot of people would consider that a mistake, but I consider it a blessing that we had the grit to not give up and to say, okay, we can do this better. We've learned a lot in the last 5 years, and we can do it better. And so I think that would be my biggest example of that.
Thanks for sharing that. I think a lot of the people who would consider that a mistake haven't been in the software business long enough. It's very typical. Haven't been in this space for 31 years. Yeah. It's very typical and advisable to start with something very flexible that may not scale and get to a place where you could scrap it and build something more robust. I mean, that's like a milestone in itself, and companies that don't see it that way are really doing themselves an injustice with constant patches and patches and patches, which ends up creating a really bad experience for the users. In terms of the user adoption of the platform, how heavily have you been focused on the UX and on the design versus the back-end technology? How do you balance that out?
Oh, absolutely. Aesthetics is key in my mind. Apple, of course, I'm always going to look up to Apple and the way their products are just designed, physical and their UIs of the software. And that's what I would aspire to be is is just the simplicity, right? Taking decisions out of the hands of our customers and making a lot of those decisions for them, but then still giving them the power and flexibility and customization that they need to make it truly their own. And that's a UX challenge. It really is. But I think that we've really walked that line well. And you know, if you're in Kajabi, a lot of people have told me it's a breath of fresh air. It's like, okay, I'm not overwhelmed. I don't feel that I'm just buried in some clunky software and going to get lost. But it's just very nicely laid out, and that's always what we want to focus on, and we want to keep leveling up in that area. So while yes, it is a balance between back end and front end, I would like to say we're doing both really, really well right now.
Congratulations, and great to hear the success you've had. What's next? What's the leapfrog moment for you now, over the next 10 years? What's the long-term sort of vision of where you want to get to?
Yeah, for me, it's just all about riding the wave. I think the hard part is done, and we caught the wave. We were really early. I think for the first many years, it wasn't a mainstream concept at all, right? Like, and the world has changed, and the company's kind of held on, and now it's not the end of the world. Like the last thing that you would think about to create a course or say, hey, I want to have a personal brand, or I want to augment my physical business with a digital presence, and so now it's all about, like I said before, just improving the platform, improving our messaging as we go out, and improving like the training and the hand holding that we can give our customers. So if they don't know, they've never thought about this before and they sign up, it's like, how can we spoon feed them success? And so it's all about us perfecting that, and then just riding that wave and getting more and more customers from many more crazy niches.
Well, congratulations. We'll be sure to include any information any of the viewers would like in terms of how to sign up or where they can find you on the website. And speaking of the website, I know that we have a full week of guests today. It's been a pleasure to have you, Kenny. Thank you for joining us. We'll definitely want to have you back later on. Want to hear some more success stories. Curious to hear those stories of the solopreneur who's basically built a business on that platform. We'd love to hear about that, and I'm sure you have some of those. Definitely want you back for that. Thank you for being with us. Carlos, what do we got? Stay with us for wrap up after we're done being live here. Carlos, what do we got coming up tomorrow and Thursday?
Sure, Tulio. Thank you. Well, first of all, that's tomorrow and Thursday at the same time at 1 p.m. right here on DojoLIVE. Tomorrow we're going to be speaking with Alex Asher, the CEO of a learning platform called LearnCube, and we're going to be speaking about the disrupted future of education. So that should be interesting because, as you probably know, because of the day and age that we're living in, online education is a big thing. And also on Thursday, we're going to be speaking with Jonathan Troughton from FramePlay, one of the founders of FramePlay, and we're going to be speaking about building trust and being an agent of change in the in-game advertising space. That's tomorrow and Thursday right here on DojoLIVE, folks. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, everyone, and stay safe. Hang on, Kenny.
Stay safe.